Yo, what is going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the question, what is good taste? Now, I was recently having a conversation about this with my friend, Tommy. I posed the idea that everyone has different taste, and that good taste doesn't actually exist. Now, during the conversation, his major point was something along the lines of, if the majority of people think that something is better, then it probably is better. And I'll admit, at the time I was conversationally stumped by this point. I couldn't think of a good counter-argument. However, I did what I do best, and I went to thinking. I finally came to the conclusion that I don't think his point is valid. But not only that, I don't think that my point was entirely true either. We're lucky to live in a time where we have information about history, geography of the entire world just at our fingertips. And it's pretty evident that people who live in a certain area tend to think similarly. We can see this across America, but we can see this even more apparent globally. Not only that, but despite the fact that large population centers seem to think similarly, taste also changes throughout time. Things that were popular and represented the good taste of one time period certainly does not represent good taste at another time period. This is because things catch on due to a multitude of varying reasons. People who have clout often have effects on what is popular and what is in good taste, whether they know it or not. Often people who are successful, respectable, and in the public spotlight will become kind of icons that people will attempt to conform to. They will attempt to conform to those people's ideals and beliefs. It's called influence. But there's also people who purposely try and change public opinion. But the problem is these people may not always have the people's best intentions at heart. A lot of times these deliberate culture changes are in the favor of only certain groups and not for the general good of all people. A really good example of this is in the musical/movie The Music Man, where this traveling salesman / con man comes to this little town.
If I'm going to get your town out of the serious trouble it's in.
River City ain't in any trouble.
Well, then I have to create some.
Basically convinces the entire town that despite billiards being a gentleman's game, that the new pool table which was just purchased in the town, that they'd never seen before.
Must have seen a pool table before.
No, just billiards.
That'll do it.
Was actually Satan's spawn.
You are not aware of the caliber of disaster indicated by the presence of a pool table in your community. Well, you got trouble, my friend. Right here, I say trouble right here in River City. Why, sure, I'm a billiard player. Certainly mighty proud to say I'm always mighty proud to say it.
There's a great musical number where he just basically gets the entire town on his side.
Now, I know all you folks are the right kind of parents. I'm going to be perfectly frank. Would you like to know what kind of conversation goes on while they're loafing around that hall? They were trying out Bevo, trying out Q-Bats, trying out tailor-mades like cigarette fiends. Friends, the idle brain is the devil's playground. Trouble! Oh, yeah, trouble! Right here in River City. Right here in River City. With a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool.
Just to sell them things so he can get rich. This is an example of a more selfish culture change. Okay, so we know that the majority of people will conform to a certain idea if they live in proximity to each other. So Tommy's take is actually kind of a problematic way of thinking. This way of thinking has created pretty much every conflict in history. It's known as mob mentality. Now is the time to transcend distance as a factor altogether, because we have something that no one in history ever had. It's magical and heaven sent, straight from our Lord Al Gore, the internet. It's sad that no one's gonna understand what that means. Ah, crap. Oh, dang it. Oh my god, I did this to myself, didn't I? My point in the beginning, that everyone's taste is different, isn't entirely true in itself either. In reality, you're constantly choosing to enjoy or to not enjoy things for your own betterment. It's not a set list of things that exist that you enjoy or not enjoy when you're born. It's essentially a modified survival process. I want to cover this point in a future video, but I do want you guys to think about what that could mean. Because the truth is, you can like anything, and I do mean anything, if you just learn to approach it in the right way. There's one exception though. If you don't like or subscribe, you have terrible taste. And that's just the facts.